Okay, so we're looking at bracing for a second time here. Now, I can't possibly cover every single type of bracing question that you might get. You really need to look at them, think about them, and use your either Pythagoras knowledge or your trigonometry knowledge to figure it out. But I did want to show you this one. It's an example of something that's slightly more complicated that you might need to think about. You can see this wall here. It's 2,400 meters high, which you know now is sort of the standard height for a wall. Now, there's a window in the middle of the wall, and that complicates things. Because if we wanted to do a really long brace from corner to corner, it's going to pass through the window. If you imagine you've got your glass window and then you've got a piece of wood, or in this case they use a metal strap, a piece of metal that goes through here. So that doesn't make any sense. We want to provide the longest brace. Well, what we really want to know is, will a metal strap 3 meters long provide the longest brace for the frame below? Now, the longest brace you could possibly have is one that goes from the top corner past the window corner, so like exactly on the window corner, and then it keeps going out to here somewhere. So that's the longest possible brace you could have. I'm just going to get rid of that. Now, it's quite difficult to figure that out, but what we can do is we know this corner, and we know that it needs to go like this. Okay. Now, as you can see, we actually have some measurements here. We know that the height from the corner of the window to the top of the wall is 1,000, and we know that the distance from the corner of the window to the edge of the wall is 1,200. You can see it written right there. Okay, using that information, we can actually find this angle. Very, very familiar here. It's a trigonometry question. Now you can see it's going to be a tan question because there's opposite and adjacent. So we know that tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Now in this question, opposite is 1,000 and adjacent is 1,200. Now that's going to give you 0.833, etc., a whole bunch of threes on the end. So tan theta equals that. Now if you want to know theta, you know you have to use shift tan on the other side. Okay, so we type that into our calculator and we get 39.8 degrees. Okay, so that angle in there, might just use a different color so we can see it. That angle right in there, right here, is 39.8 degrees. Now, that angle is important because if you watch this, if I draw this line through here, this angle is going to be equal to this angle. This is a rule of geometry. If you've got two lines that are parallel, and this line are parallel, and you put a line through them, like we've just done with our brace, this angle and this angle are going to be equal. So that means that if that's 39.8, this is also 39.8. And now it's time to start thinking about this question in more detail. We want to know the length of this red line. So that's our x. We know that this is 39.8. And we know that this height here is 2,400, the height from there to there. Oops, that should be straight. 2,400. Okay, so now we have another, I'll just draw that triangle. Now we have another trig question where we want to know the diagonal or the hypotenuse. We know that this angle is 39.8 and we know the height of the thing is 2,400. Okay, so that's opposite, that's hypotenuse. That's going to be a sine question. So sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. That's sine 39.8 equals opposite 2,400 over hypotenuse. Now, x. Now, when you get an x on the bottom, you should remember that you can swap the x and the sine 39.8 So x is equal to 2400 divided by sine 39.8. Now type all that into your calculator and you'll get an answer of 3,749 millimeters, obviously. That means that the longest brace that we can use, one that doesn't obscure the window, passes right next to the corner of that window, is 3,798 millimeters. 3798. Sorry, 3749. Don't know where I got that from. Okay, read the question again, because this is a modeling and problem solving question. Read the question. Will a metal strap 3 meters long provide the longest brace for the frame below? A metal strap of 3 meters long is not long enough. It'll stop somewhere along here and it won't go from top to bottom. Or alternatively, a 3 meter one might go from here down to like here somewhere. So the answer is no, a 3 meter strap won't be the longest brace. The longest brace is 3,749 millimeters. Okay, you can see there's a bit of work here. These bracing questions often have multiple trigonometry questions, so like you've got to do 2 steps to get to the final answer. They won't all be like this. There's quite a few different types of bracing questions you can get, but you need to write down what you know, figure out what it is that you're trying to figure out, and then go through the question, read the question slowly. Okay, try some questions, guys.